try it all you want, but when you stop at the intersection of classic hip-hop and culinary arts, you find FoodDope, the legendary podcast that personifies the culture through conversations with hip-hop influence, executive chefs, restaurateurs, and food influencers.
Throwing up flat like a ref, whipping up bricks like a chef.
Welcome to another episode of FoodDope. This is your host, Nathan T Rideaux, aka the Professor, the curator of culinary dopeness. And I have a very special dope show today. For the simple fact of it is I've been just interviewing executive chefs and restaurateurs, but I thought when I was getting this show together, I wanted to cover the whole spectrum of the culinary world. And one of the most important factors in that world is marketing. So I have a mistress of marketing today, and actually it's a landmark show because it's my first show with a female guest. Yes, right, a marketing genius and a female guest on my show. And today I have on FoodDope joining me, I have Misti Buard of Houston, Texas. How are you today?
Hello, how are you, Nathan?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing wonderful today. I'm glad I got you on the show because that's the power of networking, which is something I love to do now. I used to be fairly introverted of a person, but I guess when you have your own show that you're trying to run, and you got to come out of that, and networking is what really brought me and you together. And I'm glad that I met you, and I'm glad that I have you here today.
Absolutely, same here.
Yeah. Now, Misti is the founder and owner of brand Appetit. Did I say that correctly?
You did.
Oh, good on my first try. And I see that brand Appetit is an elevated mobile food and beverage experience.
That will be correct.
All right. Let's go ahead and talk about brand Appetit. How did you get brand Appetit, have the concept to get something like that started?
It's so funny, Nathan. I literally fell in love with food trucks in 2013.
Okay.
So much so that one of my good friends who owns a TV station here in Houston, he named me, you're going to be called the food truck lady. So I took that brand and ran with it. Okay. Now, at the time, I was still in marketing, corporate marketing. And so I was like, I love food trucks. I love marketing. And so, Nathan, when I graduated from college, social media like Facebook was the only thing that was around, and it was only for college students. Okay. Don't be trying to see how old I am. Don't calculate. But no. But so seriously, we didn't have any courses, or there was no training or no education on social media. So I still love traditional marketing because that's what I knew. Right. And so I took my love for food trucks and my love for marketing, and I said, you know what? I'm going to combine the two. Right. I'm going to use food trucks to help companies and brands get their name out there. And that's how I was born.
Yeah, it was going to be inevitable. I see.
Yeah.
And I guess everyone, when you're starting any kind of business, any type of business or any type of project that you're undergoing, you have to, that's one thing I did learn. You have to learn from the marketing before you're going to know what to do with it. Learn your marketing plan before you even go into it. So it's very important and very, I really appreciate you being here to talk about that today. And you do specialize in food trucks, or is it also the restaurant scene?
I specialize in food trucks. I'm very passionate, Nathan, about the underdog, because there are so many phenomenal chefs on food trucks, right? And they may not necessarily have the notoriety. They may not have the social media followers, but their food is amazing. Right. So I try to go out and particularly get those guys, taste their food, talk about them on the Food Truck Lady page on Instagram, and like, hey, you guys got this. Keep going. That's my love.
All right. Where are you originally from?
Originally from Dallas, Oak Cliff, Texas.
Oak Cliff. Okay. What kind of city is Dallas?
Dallas. You know what? Dallas is, in my opinion, I want to be careful how I say this. To me, I find it a little pretentious, if I'm just being honest.
Wow.
And I'm a person who loves genuineness, authenticity, transparency. You know what? I know how to answer your question. I'm from Dallas. I'm a Cowboy fan, but I'm not a delusional Cowboy fan. Right? So I'm not the fan that's always talking about, we're going to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Ain't been to the Super Bowl, and anyway. Yeah. But so Dallas, a lot of Dallas can be like the delusional Cowboy fan.
Okay.
There you go. That's a good one. Not all of Dallas.
A realistic Cowboy fan is in the minority, then I guess you could say. Shout out to all the Cowboy fans out there.
Don't kill me, dog. Don't kill me.
All right. All right. Now, what eventually led you to Houston?
When I graduated, before I graduated college, I was a freshman in college and came down to Houston for a party. And I remember calling my mom at 18, the first trip down here. I said, I'm not moving back to Dallas.
Not moving back.
I was going to finish school where I was in East Texas. I was like, but I'm not moving back. And here I am. It's 16 years later.
All right. You love it out there?
I love it. I love it. I love the vibe in Houston.
Yeah. Special place. Now, you recently, something that you had recently happened to you and you're very proud to speak on. Let's talk about the wonderful gift you received recently and how that come about.
What wonderful gift? I've had a few. Which one are you talking about?
Well, let's talk about what you're currently doing. For those who know, Misti right now is a contestant on
the Great Food Truck Race on the Food Network.
That's right.
Yes, I am a contestant on there, currently airing. Yeah, so for those who have not had a chance to tune in yet, we come on every Sunday night on Food Network, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. We have finally made it to the 4th episode. Cross your fingers.
All right. All right.
But yeah, that was a dope experience in Alaska. That was a very unique experience.
Yeah. And I've been tuning in, and man, everything looks grueling. Have you ever been up to Alaska before, being that you're originally from Texas? And how did you initially take that experience?
Look at my face. No, I had never gone to Alaska. So the Food Network called us and we had 7 days to prepare for Alaska.
Okay.
That was very interesting.
Right.
Because in Houston, where do you find snow coats, snow boots, body warmers, toe warmers, hand warmers?
Right.
These are things I have never heard of in my life. So it's funny, when I got the call from Food Network and being able to coordinate my team, we literally had to figure out, what are we going to do? Of course, Houston, we got the call in October. It was still like 75, 80 degrees here.
Yeah.
So no way we were going to find those things. So we went to Amazon and bought snow boots and all this stuff. We made it to Alaska, Nathan, and we had to buy all those things all over again because none of that stuff was good.
It worked, right?
It was not. It didn't do the job. Yeah. So yeah, that was funny.
While you're in Alaska and you got that call about the gift that I spoke of, how did you react to that? Let's go ahead and talk about that.
Let's talk about the gift.
Yeah.
So the gift is that Nathan is referring to is I was blessed. I was one of the small businesses that Beyonce's philanthropic company or brand, Be Good, blessed with a $10,000 small business grant. So I'm in Alaska. And there's a 4-hour time difference between Houston and Alaska. And so it was about 11 p.m. there. So that would make it about 8 here. And, we didn't you don't get good service in Alaska. None of the phone providers that we have are in Alaska.
Okay.
Like only something called GCI. So man. Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, none of that works. So whenever you had a little service, you were trying your best to see how your assistant is doing with your work or whatever. So this day I'm just scrolling. I have service. I'm excited. Let me see what's going on in the real world. And I get an email that says, congratulations, you have been selected as one of the Be Good Beyonce winners for small business for $10,000. And I read it and I'm like, you're lying. So I'm in my hotel room. I run a few doors down. I knock on one of my chefs, Chef Nady. I knock on her door. I say, read this. Yeah. And she's reading it and she's like, oh, I was like, did I make it up? She's like, no, you didn't make it up. I'm like, are you sure? I was like, ah! So I'm like running around in circles. That was, when I think about it, Nathan, if I'm not mistaken, I know for sure I applied for it in either September or October. And when I go back and look at that video that I had to submit, because you have to fill out an application, I had to fill out an application and I had to do a video. And I mean, I remember trying this angle, that angle, this angle. My big blonde hair was all over my head. I think one of my contacts had torn, so I had my glasses on. My lips were constantly chapped. I did like 6 videos.
Yeah.
And I finally was like, you know what? I'm just going to submit my best one. Right. When I look at that video, it was meant for me to get that award because that video is horrible. Like, I would not have chosen me. Like from the look, from the appearance, I wouldn't have chosen me.
Right.
But my passion for what I do is clearly what was able to exude through, because only 5 businesses here in Houston received the $10,000 grant.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And your the team that you're working with on the food truck race, I think the concept of that food truck is the tasty balls. Oh, let us know the concept of that menu, because it is unique.
It is unique. So again, when I first get the food call from Food Network, the rules on the Great Food Truck Race is you can only have 2 chefs who actually cook.
Okay.
Not a problem. I'm a home cook, so I can do all the business side marketing of it.
Right.
So we get together, and the first name we come up with was something like Southern Taste. You know, we're from Houston, etc. My one teammate, she says, I think that's a little boring. Like, I stuff everything. I love stuffing balls. Yeah. We were like, what? She was like, I can do peach cobbler balls. I've done meatloaf balls. I've done chicken and you name it. She can literally, from puffed pastries to anything. They literally make anything. My vegan chef Nadia, she does a crabless crab cake ball. Yeah. It's vegan. That thing is delicious. Okay.
That was first episode. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yes. And so we were like, you know what? Well, let's go with it. And we went with it.
Yeah. And the name sticks too. It stuck.
It stuck.
That's why I had to ask.
The network wasn't sure if they were going to let us keep that name.
Oh, really?
So yeah, they called us maybe 2 or 3 days before we were getting ready to fly out. And they were like, okay, can y'all think of a different name? We're thinking, and then so we didn't know that they were going to accept our name until we actually got to Alaska.
Oh man, that's dope.
Yeah,
that's dope. Let me circle back around to brand Appetit. It's certainly an interesting concept, and that's why my show here at FoodDope, I don't have to always talk to people in the hip hop industry. It can always be a mentality. It's a hustle mentality that I say that bred from the hip hop that we came from that generation. And I think the uniqueness of what you do has to be applauded and spoken of more. Now, what kind of services would brand Appetit, if I had a food truck coming to you, what kind of services would brand Appetit provide specifically?
Perfect. So that's a great question. So I had a client call me the other day, and she wants 3 food trucks for her wedding. So I can definitely book food trucks. I have a network full of food trucks. But what Brand Appetit does specifically is we will partner with the food truck and we will put a wrap on it. So say, Nathan, if you're getting ready to get married, or say you want FoodDope podcast, you're like, hey, Misti, I'm going to be at this wine festival in Atlanta, and I want to have my own branded food truck. Cool. And you just need it for a week. I will take a food truck. I will take your branding, your wrap, and whatever marketing message it is that you're promoting at that time. We will put that on a food truck. I will wrap that on a food truck. And then I'll say, okay, Nathan, so FoodDope. What kind of food are you thinking about serving? Do you want champagne popsicles, vodka popsicles? Do you want lobster pops? So the whole premise around Brand Appetit is making your brand unforgettable.
Right.
That's it. So with the food truck, vodka popsicles, champagne popsicles, or whatever menu item you really want, we try to always be creative, something that you just can't get. Like, we're not going to do chicken and waffles. We're not, right? You can get that everywhere. Right. We're going to make sure that people remember that time at FoodDope at the FoodDope food truck, and I had XYZ. So that's what we do. And like I said, we also do it for weddings. Okay. So if a client has his or her engagement photos or wedding photos, I will take those, put those on a food truck, and we will show up at your wedding or your engagement party. We can do your cocktail hour, or we can actually serve everything you want during the reception. Up to you.
Oh, wow. And I noticed you also do travel a lot and taste food. You've been all internationally.
Yes.
Yeah. How'd you get into that?
I love to travel. Really, really do. And so one of the things I have now is I have a champagne bike cart, which is so, you talking about dope? That thing is so dope, right? Imagine a bicycle where you can actually pour champagne, or you can pour your favorite signature cocktail from it.
Right.
And that stems from, so I went to Italy and Greece in 2018. And so last year I had a celebrity wedding, and they wanted a food truck. But the venue was very nice. It was very high end. It was very posh. And a food truck just didn't really fit in. And so I was like really thinking, and I was kind of like, I think I spent one Saturday on the internet for like 10 hours. Right. Pinterest, what can I do? I said, you know what? I'm gonna let it go. Said a quick little prayer to my grandmother. I'm one of those people. Okay. I talked to my Granny, I need you to give me an idea. Nathan, after like 9 hours of searching on Google, put the laptop down for an hour. And it's like the image of the bike carts that I saw in Italy and Greece came back to me. Started researching. I literally drove around Houston. Who can make this for me? I went to different bicycle shops. I need this in like 4 weeks. Can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it? And got it built. And it's been a really good experience because it's dope. It's unique. I think that's who I am. I'm completely out of the box. So when I left corporate to pursue Brand Appetit, and trust me, it was not always a success story. But that was the reason I left corporate, because I was like, you guys are trying to put me in a box. And I am an out of the box person. Completely.
Let me ask you this, in line with that, what you just said. Now, doing what you do, you have to be a creative person. Is that something that you've always been, and then you got to a certain point to where it was fiending for that creativity back in your life, and you just had to go for it?
You know what's funny? I never really thought of myself as creative. In my mind, everybody thinks like this, right? But I hear it so much, like, no, that's creative. Like,
that's creativity.
Right. And so to answer your question, yes, I can say never, but traditionalist, especially when it comes to business. No, because how am I going to remember you if you're doing the same thing that McDonald's and Burger King and Dairy Queen is doing?
Exactly.
What is it about you that makes me, how am I going to remember you? Like I always tell people, why does Chick-fil-A stand out? I wrote an article about this on LinkedIn in my early entrepreneur years, like 2015. And I remember a girl, she ripped me apart on the article too. But I literally wrote about their customer service, and this is why they stand out. Let's be clear, that chicken is not phenomenal. I don't even know if that chicken has salt and pepper, but what they have, they create an experience.
Exactly.
For you. And so how can you and your brand create an experience? And so I think, so when it comes to creativity, yes, how can I, or if I'm working with a client, how can you create an experience?
And you have to go to work in your mind to make it come to life.
You do, but you know what I think more so than going to work in your mind, Nathan, I think sometimes push back. In this country, so I can tell you, Brand Appetit did not take off until 2020. I always laugh about that. Like, my business decided to take off during the doggone pandemic. That's the craziest thing ever. But I had a business coach, and he said to me in our very first session, I need you to let go of Brand Appetit. And I was like, what does that look like? He's like, just let it go. You're holding on too tight to it. And it took me a few days to actually like really receive that message. But when I did, that's when the bike cart was born. So imagine if I had such a hold on food trucks. I wouldn't have been in the mobile beverage and food industry. It would have just been mobile food. And so I think letting go, that showed me the power of letting go. He said that to me in May. No clients in the last year and a half, but in August 2020, I'm at a celebrity wedding. I'm the company Brand Appetit is in the People magazine article. Then I get a Beyonce grant, and then I'm on Food Network. And so just letting go, I took out of my mind what it should look like, and I allowed it to be what it was supposed to be.
Makes perfect sense.
Oh yeah,
perfect sense. Now with someone like myself, for instance, FoodDope. I hear it a lot. People, that's such an out of the box way of thinking to combine culinary arts and hip hop. What would be something, and I'm not asking for a free consultation.
Oh, you're fine. No, I love it. No, this is great because I was already thinking. So as I like look at you and as we do this podcast, you see my vintage record player back there?
Exactly.
So having something like that set up, having some music playing at the very old school album on vinyl, and old school hip hop or whatever on vinyl, that vinyl sound, but doing that and then continuously interviewing people who either talk about dope food, create dope food, or have tasted dope food, and then like showcasing it. Where did you go? What did it taste like? Compare it to this, compare it to that.
Right.
Have them share their experience, because now FoodDope podcast is an experience. I want to listen to Nathan's show because I'm learning about food that someone tried while they were in Tanzania in Africa, and I'm going there soon. Or a chef who made XYZ and he has his catering gig and he talked about something creative and out of the box. And that's what you want to do. You just want to set yourself apart from everyone else. And that's it. And it's not rocket science. Like when we start overthinking it.
Yeah.
No. I'm going to be funny for a second. I'm full of personality. You had McDonald's and you had McDowell's, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
They have the Golden Arch. We have
exactly.
But I'm being silly, but I'm serious. It's not rocket science, right? I'm not the first person to do what I do with food trucks, but I promise you, Nathan, nobody else can do it like the food truck lady can. Like nobody can, right? So anybody can easily book food trucks, but I make sure I've already tasted their food. I'm not putting my name on anything that I don't agree with. Number two, I make sure they have excellent customer service. I'm going to make sure that at your wedding or at your venue or whatever, you get the Chick-fil-A customer experience. And so it's the experience of working with me. I had a client, a potential client the other day was like, oh my God, just from the consultation call, I want to work with you. I just, because I know what I like. Right. So you know what you like, what grabs your attention, and there you go. That's it.
And I told you, like when I first met you, you were so effective in what you do. It was like that night when you had the microphone and you spoke, that immediately got my mind working. You remember what I told you about the project that I was working on, that I had such a problem. I have such a problem promoting podcasts on social media because I don't find the true podcast audience is on social media. So that night I was up and my mind was just working, and I just started drafting, putting out plans for a social networking site just for the podcast industry.
That's beautiful. See, that's you.
Yeah.
Right. And so, remember what we talked about the night we met at the culinary event. And I know a lot of times our society, we get so hooked on likes and followers. It's almost bizarre to me.
Right.
Because it's like, you're not getting $1 for every like. I mean, unless you are the paid influencer. If you are, bravo. Right. You are getting $1 for it.
Yeah.
But I want everybody to, when they see me, I want people to see an inspiration. I like to say, I have 2,600 Instagram followers, but yet I got a Beyonce grants, $10,000.
Right.
I got a call from Food Network. That wasn't the first food show to ever call me. Gordon Ramsay's show called me in 2016. Called me. They were coming out with a show called That F Word. At same concept. They always give you like this much time to get all this stuff together. And I got this whole team together and we did this interview and we cooked up some oxtails and all this other amazing stuff.
Right.
We did all of that. And then the show called back and said, hey, we decided to go a different direction. The moral of that story is, I don't care how many followers you have. Yeah. I still got all of those calls in my 2,600. Show up as your authentic self.
Right.
And the people who are supposed to gravitate towards you will gravitate towards you. We don't need everybody. That's too much energy.
Yeah.
I need the person that's for me. Yeah. Whatever message they have for me in this moment, or whatever message I have for them, that's all we need. We're good.
That's all we need. Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. Now, out of all the continents or countries that you've been to, what do you think is your favorite culinary wise?
Oh.
And what's the best dish you've had in that country?
Okay. So far, and I want to be clear, I have not gone everywhere, but my so far favorite culinary wise, is going to be between Turks and Caicos Islands and Italy. And I'm going to tell you why. I have never had such fresh food in my life. Like it is, I can't even, the juice, it tastes like juice. It doesn't taste like sugar. Like, I'm serious. However they're growing their food over there, however they're preparing it,
right,
it's completely different. I mean, literally, you can eat all. You ever see Islanders from the Caribbean and you're like, damn, they fine. Like, she is fine as hell. What are they eating? And they, they eating Jamaican beef patties and oxtails and, beef carrots. But yet it's like, I can't even explain it.
Mm-hmm.
The food in Turks and Caicos was amazing. And the joke I have about that is I didn't, we grew up eating salami, right? I did not eat. I would have rather eat bologna than salami.
Yeah.
But I only knew of the salami with the little black peppercorns in it. So I go to Turks and my parents are like, I'm getting some salami. I'm like, why are you eating that? We ain't got to eat that no more. We passed that life. He upgraded a little bit. But I taste the salami. I can't even explain it to you. And then in Italy, I'm gonna send some pictures to you. My friend and I had pizza.
Okay.
We looked at the pizza first. It looks different. Let's try it.
Right.
So we tried a pizza. First of all, it was $3. Let me start there. But anyway, it was $3. And it was just, the ingredients were just fresh.
Yeah.
So it was just captivating. And again, like, Italians, they eat all parts of the pig, right?
Yeah.
It tasted nothing like what we have here. And so that was just my favorite dish. I can't tell your favorite dish. I loved all of it.
Right.
I loved all of it. I loved every moment.
Now, you collect vinyl. I see your player back there. What you bumping on the record player? Oh man, so lately it's been as somebody that I hold very near and dear to my heart. He calls Anita Baker Miss Baker. Mm-hmm.
Miss Baker is always she's always on there. I have I have some Miles Davis.
Okay.
So I like to play it when I'm cooking and drinking some wine.
Yeah.
So I have that. I have M2
Okay.
For those who may be too young for M2,
they don't know about M2. Juicy fruit.
That's juicy fruit.
Yeah.
I have Aretha Franklin.
Okay.
I like old school, so I'm kind of
right.
I'm a little stuck in the old ages, I guess.
Hey, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The music was timeless. That music is timeless. Yeah. I just invested in a new a turntable about 6 months ago myself. So I just got the Anita Baker Rapture a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, sounds flawless on that vinyl.
Okay.
Yeah,
it does, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is Nathan Rideaux, and I am on FoodDope, and this is my special guest host today, Misti Buard of brand Appetit.
Hey.
Now, Misti, let's go back into brand Appetit for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
You've mentioned like everything that all the services you provide. Do you actually travel outside of your local area? If you had a potential client somewhere else who wanted to bring you in, are you absolutely open to all that? Oh
yeah, I am open to it. But right before COVID hit, I was going to have an event at a trade show in Chicago.
Yeah.
Where an experiential marketing summit, and they wanted to brand a food truck. I got you.
Right.
And then, COVID hit. So, but yes, I'm very open to that.
Okay. Now, let people know for potential restaurant owners or food truck owners, how important it actually is to invest in the marketing side of your business, and let them know this. Most times the food's just not enough. You got to put something out there. You got to be noticed, to get that brand noticed.
Absolutely. You know what? It's funny you say that. So you know how Facebook will send you reminders of something you said 5-6 years ago. And it sent me a reminder that I said, marketing is simple. It's doing the same thing over and over again to the people who like what you do.
Right.
That's it. So, and then you said something earlier that kind of registered with me. We talked about networking. That's all it is. See it as networking.
Right.
And for those who may be introverts, go into people's DMs. People slide in people's DMs for dating.
Yeah.
Slide in there about business and partnerships. And so again, I am an old school marketer. Partnerships work phenomenally for me. Right. As you saw in the last episode of Food Network, hey, let's create this alliance.
Yeah.
Creating a partnership. So who can benefit from what you do and you benefit from what they do?
Right.
Right. So for a new chef, it may not be beneficial for you to partner with a chef that offers exactly what you offer, but can you partner with someone else who offers something different? Right. Or can you partner with the bartender and they could create specialty cocktails? Like the event we were at, they had a different cocktail for every menu item that complemented it. You can do that in real life. You guys can start off having small events, small tastings, a cocktail that matches the food. That's a win-win for both you and the bartender.
Right.
So just, keep putting your message out there, whatever it is. Don't try to be someone else. Nathan does his podcast the way he wants to do it because it's his podcast.
Right.
You don't have to do what I follow someone, Coffee with Curls. You don't have to do what she does.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the big thing. So I would say partnerships, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Two, maybe do reverse order. Number one, crafting your message. What is your message? So we call it USP, your unique selling point. What is special about you? It doesn't have to be major. It could be simple. What's special about Brand Appetit? I'll put your face on a food truck for a day or two. That makes me special, right? You don't have to be forever. Yeah. So what's special about you? Make that, start there, and then partnerships. Think about people again. The biggest thing with partnerships, one thing I teach my interns this, don't go to someone with your hand out. Mm-hmm. What can you bring them first? So if you want to partner with somebody, think first before you can think of what they can do for you. Right. It's a good chance you already know it. That's why you want to partner with them.
That's why you want to,
Yes, but think about what can you offer them. Mm-hmm. Once you get those two, pitch them on it. That's it.
Dope. Words to live by.
I know people are going to listen to this podcast today and be like, what food they talking about?
Now, what are your most, memorable food truck experience where you visited a food truck before and you just had to keep circling back, or it just never left your memory?
It started in 2013. His name was Bobby Q.
Okay.
He was from Tennessee.
Okay.
But he was here in Houston. Seriously. His name was Bobby. His field truck name was Bobby Q.
Bobby Q. Okay.
Bobby Q. I was leaving a day party, Memorial Day weekend. And he served barbecue, but that day, so talk about creativity, that day, Bobby had sauce. He had just made a new sauce and he had some fried shrimp. As we were walking out, he was passing out samples. Would y'all like to try this?
Yeah.
I was like, sure. And I'm not a big shrimp eater. Like, yeah. We tasted that, and that homemade sauce he made. Right. That wasn't even his barbecue, but he was trying a new concept. He needed to know what the people were going to think about his stuff. Sorry, I went back to marketing. Anyway, right. but I want somebody to pick up that nugget though.
Exactly.
Anyway, he made all of his sauces from scratch, even his barbecue. And being from Tennessee, some people say they can barbecue in Houston, but they just put meat on the grill and put barbecue sauce. Yeah. That ain't barbecue. Mm-hmm. Okay. He could barbecue. So every Friday and Saturday night, I would take my behind to Third Ward and I would get me a loaded stuffed baked potato with his chopped beef and ribs and all that on it. Yeah. That's summer. I'm looking for Mexico.
Yeah.
Wasn't no bikini wearing for me, not at all. But his food was that good. I literally chased him. I wish I could find, I've been looking for him.
Right.
And so he moved away. He left Houston. I think he went back to Nashville. But
oh man. Okay.
I know.
I will be in Nashville next month in May. I'm gonna look him up.
Please, if you find him, just find him and I'll do the rest.
All right, I'm writing that down right now.
I know Bobby Q. I hope he's still around.
All right. This is Nathan T Rideaux, aka the Professor, on FoodDope, the podcast, and today I'm sitting here with Misti Buard of Brand Appetit, food truck marketing, and Misti, I'm going to let you have the last couple minutes to close out and talk about Brand Appetit or the food truck race or whatever you would like to.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Seriously, thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it very much. Yeah, so I am Misti B. Hey. You can check me out on Instagram at the Food Truck Lady. That's where I do a lot of tasting and talking. I will be in Miami at the end of April. So I am looking for some food trucks in Miami that I must taste. So if anybody has a recommendation, please send me a DM at the Food Truck Lady on Instagram or tag me. Also, for my foodies or people who want to own food trucks one day, check us out. Me and my team, Tasty Balls, on Food Network every Sunday at 9 p.m. It's called the Great Food Truck Race, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. And thank you so much. I appreciate all of the love and support.
And thank you once again for being here. And this is Nathan T Rideaux, the professor on FoodDope. And remember, you'll never underestimate the weight this culture carries unless you live the life, and I live the life. International FoodDope, brought to you by Urban Science Media, hosted by Nathan T Rideaux, aka the professor. Find us on all major podcast platforms. Follow us on IG at FoodDope Podcast and at the Professor 73. You'll never underestimate the weight this culture carries unless you live the life. And I live the life. We got history.